YouTube land, and welcome to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast episode 24. Of course, I am one of your hosts, Dantes, and joining me, the man himself, Unison Odyssey. How you doing, Caliones?
Hey, how you doing, Dantes? How you doing, everybody? And yeah, we went through a couple of things that we had to fix on here, but we're finally up and running, and hopefully everything will go without a hitch from now on. So we got plenty of news as well. So go ahead and take it away, Dantes.
So anyway, the first piece of news is we're gonna talk about Mario Odyssey. We're finally doing the review. We play it enough. I 100%ed it. Caliones is still trying to beat the darkest side on the moon. Are you still there?
Yes.
Oh, so you haven't beat it yet?
Not yet, but I've had enough of the game to know where it places on me. So that's fine. I'm confident where it is.
Okay, that's fine. You're so confident. You're so confident. Okay, let's start. Let's start with a quick review. I'm showing some gameplay from our boy Caliones when he was playing a little bit of Mario Odyssey right here on the Force In Unison gaming channel. So I want to go by topic, Caliones, and we'll go what we feel. I divided it basically in four. Graphics, controls, gameplay, and music, right? So let's start with the graphics. I got a couple of notes here that I wrote to myself so I could know where my thoughts would go. But basically, to me, Mario Odyssey is the best looking game on the Switch, no doubt about it. It looks awesome. The best part about the game is it runs consistent to 60 frames per second. There are some slowdowns here and there, but nothing that you would say, oh my God, this game has performance issues like Breath of the Wild. But to me, the Mario moves, all the animations, they look so fluid. Every kingdom is beautiful in a sense. There's some dots in there, but I believe that 80% of all the kingdoms have their unique aesthetics, aspects of it. Really beautiful, really great to explore. So the game, again, just runs so great. They just get lost in this world. And then, of course, you know, the story, as the story goes through, I didn't put a story section here because Mario doesn't have a story. But again, with the story going through, it is really well presented through cutscenes like the one that we're watching right now, the initial cutscene of the game. So to me, graphics, slam dunk for Mario Odyssey. What do you think, Caliones?
Well, I mean, as far as the graphic-wise, of course, it's going to be, well, I'm not saying of course, but it is the best-looking game on the Switch. Like you said, it was really important for a platformer like Mario Odyssey to hit the 60 frames per second. So that was a must, and I'm so glad that they actually did so on it. The game worlds, they're big, they're expansive. You have so many different places that you can visit, and and different challenges that you can unlock post game afterwards on those same worlds. Like the game itself, if you're just gonna just run straight through it and get the required moons and just beat it, it's probably gonna be 10 or 12 hours. So it's not really a long game if you're gonna go straight through the game itself. But if you start trying to collect everything like Dantes did, I think it probably what did it take you, like 60 hours
60
to
hours,
like
yep.
yeah, like 60 hours to get everything on the game, and then you basically beat it again, and you're like halfway or more than halfway through getting the moons again. So
Yep.
it's a lot of complaints from people. Well, not or some of the complaints that I heard before. I played the game was that it was actually taxing, getting those moons, and it was not fun. But after I played the game, it is a lot of fun. I mean, because you don't really do it the same way. There's so many different challenges, so many different things that you do to get those moons, and it gives you like different varieties. And also, I mean, if you don't want to, spend so much time trying to figure it out by yourself, you can also go to the map, and the map tells
So
you the locations of them.
So you're,
So,
you're going you're going a little bit into gameplay. Let's hold that thought. Just think about the graphics. I
mhm,
think we both agree that
yes,
Mario Odyssey is one of the best looking, Switch games, if not the best looking Switch game for sure. Let's
yeah,
move to the next one. Since you touched upon it, right? Well, I'll go first with controls. I think controls is. I do want to say that the Mario Odyssey controls are great. This is the best controlling Mario of all time. Like Mario's moves so great. Where you want Mario to go, he moves, right? And to pull all the moves, you have to do it with precision. More so in the last moons that are really tough. You really need a lot of precision. So the Mario controls, great, great. The motion controls, I did not mind them. They were a little bit tacky here and there, but you know what? I play both ways. I play with the separated Joy-Cons, and I also play with the Pro controller. And Mario played great on both. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, the only way to play this game was separated Joy-Cons." You don't need to. Honestly, you can play with the Pro controller fine. I did all the moves with the Pro controller. It works. Yeah, it could be a little bit tougher to pull some moves that are required by motion control, but I thought the game ran fine, ran great. So no issues with that. Caliones, what do you think about the controls?
But like pretty much agreeing with you. The controls themselves. This is the most different, like different types of movesets that Mario has ever for any other game. And then not only that, but then you take over different enemies, different objects, and things like that, and you have additional movements and control types for those. So you do everything from flying to being basically a first-person shooter when you take over one of those tanks. So pretty much it covers most of the genres, from different games, just by controlling different enemies. And because of each enemy having basically its own set of moves, it's not like you're doing the same thing over and over again. So I like that each enemy, each object, each different thing gives you different moves, and it gives you a different feeling that you're controlling that. That you're not. It's not like a coat of paint on the enemies. Just having the same one with a different look, it actually feels different as well. So yes, it has so many different controls and so much more than any other Mario before it. So by far, it's when it comes to the type control and how they react, then there's no comparison. It is the best one.
Yep, I agree with that. Now with that, you touched upon it earlier in the review. Let's go with gameplay, right? So I'll start with saying I think that the sandbox open world is great. It's not open world like normally. It's basically small kingdoms, small hubs where you could do anything around them. I find that finding moons is addictive, and also the stages are really well designed, and exploring the stages is really fun. So as you go through trying to find those moons, there's really some of them are really well hidden. So some of them take some creative to find them, and because the worlds are interesting, it's fun to try to find all those moons. Admittedly, now I'm gonna start kind of giving more complaints going forward. I kind of wish that the kingdoms were a little bit bigger. I don't know. I wish that if they were going with this exploration, I wish that the worlds were a little bit more bigger. I'm not asking Breath of the Wild bigger or Xenoblade bigger, right? I'm just saying I wish they were a little bit more bigger, a little more variety. I wish that we had more sub stages. What I mean with that is treat the open world like a hub. And imagine if in every hub you have easily 7 or 8 sub stages that you would go through, and that's where you would possibly put the challenge, right? Because I do feel that this game was a little bit easy, and yeah, it got a little bit tougher at the end, but I wish that the challenge wasn't hardcore, that it was not impossible. Like I was expecting more, right? I was expecting like Mario Galaxy type of at the end really get some of the stars gets really tough. But no, in this game it really was, to me, the game was easy. It just got into normal mode at the end of the game. It didn't become hard. So I wish that there was more tough stages in the game. And those sub stages could have been that, and could have taken the challenge. Or so people who gets the 900 spoilers. There's only some spoilers here to clarify. The 999 moons in the game. It's because you earn it for real, right? You feel that you achieved something, right? And this game also have an achievement system. You might not know this, but once you go to the Mushroom Kingdom, which is one of my favorite kingdoms to clarify, you get a star for every achievement that you accomplish. So that was a fun way to implementing achievements, without having an achievement system. Come on, Nintendo, to get that achievement system already. But again, I wish the game was a little bit more challenging. I wish the stages have more sub stages. I wish the stages were a little bit bigger. I also wish that the bosses were a little bit more challenging too. The bosses were a joke. And finally, to me, the bosses you face in the rematch during the Mushroom Kingdom, and when you do everything to face Bowser again, that should have been the main boss fights. And the challenge boss fight should have been even harder, in my opinion. But again, I know I'm criticizing a lot right now. It feels like the game is fun. Gameplay is like, let me clarify. The game is fun. Finding moves are addictive as hell. And it's one of the best Mario games of all time. Pure and simple. I just wish there was a little bit more challenge. Now to you. And one last thing. Kalina's touched upon it. A lot of people complain about the length of the game. Yeah, you can beat the game 10 to 12 hours easily if you're just trying to go from start to finish. But if you really want to get the most out of this game and even try to get the most moons, you don't have to get every moon. It took me 60 hours to get everything. But if you try to do most of it, I would say at least 40 hours your first playthrough. And that to me is a damn RPG if you count for it, right? So I don't know what the whole thing, you can beat it in 10, 12. The game really opens up once you beat the game. So, saying that the game is short, I think it's injustice to this game and the amount of gameplay that is in this game. So, anyway, go ahead, Calione. What do you think about gameplay in the game?
Well, about the gameplay, well, I guess I'll tackle the last part of people saying that 10 to 12 hours is short. Nintendo could have easily made it that instead of having X amount of moons for you to put on the ship and being able to travel, they could have forced you to having to find all the moons that were available before the end of the game on those stages before moving on, and that of course could have added easily another 5 to 10 hours of challenges trying to find them. So the game on its first playthrough could have been longer. They could have made it 20-25 hours, and then after the post game having the other unlocks. But I still like it that Nintendo left it that way because they're basically letting you play how you want it. If you want to play just to breeze through it, you can do that. If you want to go ahead and go back and get all the moons and everything else, you can do that as well. So same thing with Breath of the Wild. They're giving you a chance to play the game like you want to, and not forcing you to do certain things. So yes, you got to find a couple of moves at the beginning just so you can move from world to world. But it's a minimal amount. It's not having forcing you to find all of them. So I'm glad that they did it that way, and that's that way the game does have a good flow from beginning to end. As far as the comparing it to Galaxy, I love the Galaxy games, but I know for me it's I prefer the Mario games to be more grounded, if I may say so. Because on Galaxy, it was more like gravity defying. You had them like going around the globes and things like that. So on this one, the controls themselves are more tight because of it. Because you don't have to see Mario upside down and different things like that. So I know it's just not nitpicking, and I'm not gonna knock Galaxy games because of it. Because I mean, do you really want to have the same game over and over again? So I do like that Nintendo keeps changing. From each and every one, and in this one, allowing you to, control the different animals and objects, which adds to, to this game and to the different things that you can do on it. But I still, my preference when it comes to the gameplay, I do prefer this one over the other Mario games, even though on that one you defer and you think, you think otherwise.
Well, yeah, you and I are gonna see differently on this. I still feel that Galaxy is I can spoil this, the best 3D Mario game, Galaxy 2 to me, of all time. I had the most fun with that game. I never felt a chore. I beat it with everything twice, Galaxy 2, right? And I felt both times really fun way to do it. The way how they mixed the brothers, Luigi and Mario, it was perfect balancing, right? Odyssey, I admit, I'm at 547 moons right now on my second playthrough, Caliones, and I'm starting to feel like, okay, but let me push through. I'm gonna get him again. I'm gonna finish it again. I'm not saying that the game is getting boring. It's just it's becoming more of a push through to get everything again, right? I can stop. That's fine. I'm just saying that's what differentiates me in how I feel with Galaxy and and Odyssey. So again, but it's like comparing, which one is better, like filet mignon or Kobe steak, right? It's like they're still good, two nice cuts of meat, right? So it's hard to compare. If you love Odyssey more than Galaxy, I understand it. Trust me, I understand it because the game is really creative, and the way they change between 2D and 3D, that was a great idea. I love those stages, Caliones, and the ones that they put that are really tough to do. Those are the ones that I even love even more. Even more. I was doing today the one in Mushroom Kingdom where you're traveling and they're firing bullet bills, but then the screen moves. So if you have to stay in the black of the screen, if you go and go into the white of the screen, you fall through and die, right? So it was evading all the bullet bills, trying to stay in the screen with it, and then there's one piece that you have the old school way of like really small blocks, so you have to run through the blocks to maintain momentum so you don't fall in between the cracks. So I love that, and that's what I wish the game had more. Those moments are the ones like, damn, why they didn't do this more, right? But again, Nintendo's trying to appeal to a larger audience. I'm asking for too much, mate. I'm the minority. I'm like the hardcore. I want the game to be hard. I want the game to challenge me and make me feel the pain that I really doing the 999 moons is like a big accomplishment. But Nintendo has to appeal for everybody. So I understood. That's why I love all Galaxy. Like Galaxy was easy at first, but once you go to the post content, the post content is for people like me, and that's what I was expecting. And maybe that's where the game kind of let me down a little bit, was when everybody's saying the post content is so great. I'm like, yes, we're gonna get like Galaxy type of challenge here, and that wasn't the case, right? So that's where I struggle with it a little bit. But again, I do want to play Galaxy again if I have a little bit of break here, so I could do a proper comparison, because it's really unfair. Mario Odyssey is fresh on my mind, and Galaxy I haven't played in a long time. So again, I do want to play it again, but we'll see what happens. But still, we both agree gameplay is great, right? Let's go to music in the last category on our review. I felt, and maybe Caliones won't agree with me, but I felt this is one of the weakest Mario in music. There was some good tunes. I love the Wood Kingdom tune. I love that one. That one's like my favorite. That was added to the classics in my opinion. And I also love the Dunk City's song. The one that I forgot the name of the song. Caliones, you know it. Galaxy, the song from Galaxy, the one that is on the commercials. Anyway, love that. Even though that's a song that has lyrics, it was a great song. Like that part is one of the best moments in the game when you go into the festival in Dunk City and you switch to 2D and you fight Donkey Kong at the end of that stage with that music playing in the background. One of the greatest moments in video game history, in my opinion, and that's saying a lot, right? It's gonna be up there with moments like in Final Fantasy to me. I don't want to say, but Final Fantasy VII, someone dies, and that was one of the biggest moments in video games history. I put that right there because it's not about story impact. Doesn't mean that has to be there, right? Also, how the game presented, the gameplay shows you. That's one of the greatest moments in gaming history. But then the rest of the music was weak. Sand Kingdom music was a little bit weak. Maybe the one in the dinosaur world, Fall Kingdom. That one has good music. I want to give it credit, but I got excited every time I would hear a classic one, right? Caliones, like every time I hear something classic from Mario 1, 2, and 3, when the band was playing the old 2 Mario song, when you collect all the musicians, that was like awesome. Like I was like, yes, this is the shit right here. And then the ending when they put some Mario Galaxy music too on there with orchestrated, and that's where I think At's Galaxy music was so great because it was fully orchestrated, all of it. So I don't know why. It's just, to me, even I'll say this, even Skyward Sword music was better than Breath of the Wild music because it was orchestrated. I just love that type of music. So that's where I would say that this is one of the weakest Mario in music. Doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just that I think other Mario games have done way better music than this Mario game. Anyway, your thoughts, Calione?
Okay. No, I mean, on this one, I'm not really going to disagree. I pretty much, think the same thing when it comes to the song. I mean, aside from the one that you were saying, Jump Up Superstar, and the I mean a couple of other tunes. There's no, I mean, I don't really remember most of them. Like it's not songs that they stay with me. I'm probably gonna have to listen to them again. Perhaps because the other games have been around for a couple of years. Then we tend to remember those. But um, it's I think the one of the reasons why the songs on this ones are not as memorable is because they were mostly changing with the different things that you were doing, how you were approaching different objectives, and how you were moving like throughout the world. So it's not a tune that the level starts with, and then the song plays for the entire level. So you get accustomed to like to listen to it in until you learn it. So I mean that maybe that could have been one of those things in why we don't think of them being songs that's memorable, but. It still had I mean like two or three songs that are probably gonna stay with us, but overall as a soundtrack, I don't think it stands with the other games.
Yep. Okay, I think we agree on that. I think finally, let's give our final score on the game, right? If I had to review this game, I'll put it this way. I would review this game higher than Breath of the Wild. I think I gave Breath of the Wild 9.3, Caliones. I think that's what it was, right? So I think this game is a 9.5 in my eyes, right? And the reason I say that this game is higher, even though I feel that the other game has a more impact on the Switch than this game, and one of the news is gonna show that today, is because
we're gonna cover that.
Yeah, we're gonna cover that. I think Mario Odyssey is a more polished game than Zelda Breath of the Wild, right? So you cannot take points away from that. They're not reinventing the wheel. They're just perfecting it even more, right? So to me, Mario Odyssey, for sure, is a 9.5, in my opinion. What is your final score, Cali? Honest.
Okay, no, to me, this is the best Mario game ever made. Even though we have some gripes with the soundtrack, but then again, I mean that's what I feel like. If you had the same like one theme song per stage, and you had to play from the beginning to the end without changing and listening to it, maybe we got a better perspective of how good they are and how I mean their lasting appeal is. But overall, I mean I just love it that Nintendo keeps improving on the formula. Yes, Super Mario 3D World was like kind of like a step back because it's not even though it's a 3D game, it's not really a Mario 3D game. It was more so like a party game. So for me, I'm just gonna join the bandwagon as most everybody else and give it a 10.
Okay, so that means that of course the final Force In Unison score is gonna be in the middle. That means it's a 9.75. If you unite our two scores, right? So it's still great score, great game. It deserves all the praise that it's getting. It's a fucking great game. So this first year of the Switch has been hot, baby. Aside from that, let's end this. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight at the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast, episode 24, right here at the Force In Unison Gaming channel. Of course, please remember to subscribe, like, and comment so you can make these two crazy MFs happy. Also, please remember that if you don't want to see our ugly faces, hey, Caliones and I, we got a solution for you. Go to SoundCloud and iTunes and download this podcast for free. I'm going to get caught up this weekend. I promise. We're 2 episodes behind. But I will promise that tomorrow or Monday at the latest, because I'm on vacation this week, we'll get up to date with downloading this podcast so you guys can get it and SoundCloud and iTunes. Also, we do have a Facebook page called at Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and on this, finally, go to chiguerosnews.com and give some click and love to my boy, Caliones. With all that said, thank you again for joining us. Long live Nintendo's. Good night, everybody.
Hey, have a good night, everyone.
Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe.